right, what's going on? Matt here with the Hicksey podcast. Matt, Dave, got a absolute stellar lineup today. For you, we got Eddie Krivca, Josh Hassan, and Sean McAllen. Obviously, our biggest podcast, Dave, not a question.
Oh, by far. I mean, we got three of the best athletes I know of. So, I mean, we should, like I said, I'm a little bit nervous, but we'll get this going and hopefully produce a good podcast today.
Also got Kelvin, handing out the mic. Kelvin.
What's going on?
What up? All right. All right, so guys, let's just hop right into it. I mean, let's. So before you guys, went to high school, what was your background? Like, did you guys play in middle school? Did you guys play for like the Junior Hawks or whatever? Or edit?
Tested whatnot. Like, hey, you want to try freshman football in high school? I was like, sure. And that's what pretty much got me into it.
Josh.
I played a little bit of rec basketball back in the day. I was a big golfer, but football, I tried it in 5th grade. I struggled to make weight since it was Pop Warner. Wasn't my favorite. I had a bad experience, but so I ended up quitting halfway through the season. But I gave it another shot in high school, and it worked out pretty well.
I started football also in 5th grade. Played all my years in Pop Warner. And I also played baseball up until freshman year. That's about it.
Baseball, wow.
Yeah, Sean was a good interesting. Sean, did you play on Long River? Like the Long River baseball team?
I did it 8th grade.
Did in 8th grade.
I peaked at 12 years old playing baseball.
I think we all did.
Yankees, right?
Yeah,
I did better in travel. So that's about it. Peaked at 12 years old playing baseball.
I remember. I think I was also on that team. I think you played in 8th grade. You said.
Yeah.
All right. No, you were good. What position did you play?
I was center field.
You were center field. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. He was good.
He was born to be.
We had him in center field, and we had Kobe at third base. So.
A stacked team.
We had a pretty stacked team. We had a lot of power on our team, but it was Coach Mizuraka, so I think we won 5 games or something like that.
Yeah, terrible coach.
Terrible coach. But save that one.
Hopefully he doesn't see this podcast.
Yeah, save that one for later. We'll keep that one in the back pocket. So freshman year, did any of you guys actually get any playing time varsity? Edit? No? Josh?
I got a couple punts for varsity, a Saturday game, Sacred Heart, and then Wilby Friday night. So that's about it for my varsity time freshman year.
John? Did you play your freshman year?
I was the only freshman that dressed my freshman year. Besides Kobe. Kobe started because he was filthy.
Who was the running back before you? He had a long last name.
Zaccanini.
Zaccanini.
He was a while before.
Oh, was he?
We also had, before me, you had Joe Masuli, Joe Fancher, and Taylor Tucherone. They were the running backs before me. Yeah, so my only one play freshman year was taking a knee versus Sacred Heart. The first game of the year.
Wow.
That was the one play.
So you were originally a quarterback?
I was a quarterback freshman year because we had no other quarterback for the freshman team, yeah.
We kind of didn't need one, I guess, because you had Tanner, right?
Yeah, he's a nasty quarterback, so that's about it.
And on that day he took the knee, a legend was born. So, I mean, you got to thank the coach for putting you in for that knee, man.
Yeah.
So.
Coach Shea had me warming up for snaps to take that single knee, so that moment was huge.
Yeah. And look at you now. So.
Big things.
Yeah,
Big
facts.
things.
All right, so going into now your guys' sophomore. So, Sean, your sophomore year is really when you broke out, right? It's when you started playing running back for the first time. And you played for a very competitive team as well, a team that went all the way to the state championship. Just kind of like put in perspective what that year meant for you.
I would just say it was a huge year. We had a bunch of great senior leadership. Like we had Tanner, Levi, Jack. So we had a bunch of leaders. It was a pretty special season going to the state championship. Unfortunately, we lost to Ansonia. But overall, it was a pretty good season. I was glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, that was the first year. I was a freshman that year, and that was the year where it was just like we had a phenomenal student section. You couldn't be you had to be there 30 minutes before the game, or else you couldn't get a seat in the student section. And then you had big games. I remember that Nagy game was really big that sophomore year. That game was really good. And then the Derby game is another one that really stuck out to me. You guys coming back. That throw from Tanner to Mike Kenny on the you know what I'm talking.
4th and 29, I believe.
19. I watched it today.
4th and 19. So that was a pretty awesome play to win it at the end of the game.
And obviously, you guys lost to Ansonia, both in I believe the NVL championship too, right?
Yeah, we lost in the NVL championship.
That team was unbeatable though. Really, when you think about it. Yeah, they had Arkell on the team and that offensive line too. A lot of people don't give that offensive line credit, but I think every single person on that offensive line was like 6'5", like 290.
Yeah, all those guys are huge, and Arkell Newsom is just a freak of nature. He absolutely juked me out of my socks and broke my ankles one play. So he's filthy. He did play at UConn, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember one play in particular. There was just like because Arkell wasn't getting all the carries, they were kind of doing a little back by committee thing. I think just really to keep him healthy. But there was one play where I feel like he went to like a freaking mob of like 8 Woodland players, and then you're just like, oh, where the hell did he go? And then all of a sudden he's running off the other side because he was such a big guy, hard guy to tackle. But overall that sophomore year, probably one of the greatest Woodland Hawk football teams. Would you agree?
I would say so. We weren't the best, though, because we still didn't win the championship, so I'm pretty salty.
Well, you put them up there, though, right? I mean, that was Tanner. That senior Tanner.
Yeah, we had Tanner at quarterback.
Mike. You said, all that senior
Mike
leadership.
Kenny, Levi Fancher, and Chris Laven holding.
Yeah, how's Levi doing? Did he play in college?
Yeah, Levi played at Assumption College. He did a 5th year this year. He ended up tearing his ACL and playing on it this year, which is this guy's a tough bastard. So, yeah, I still keep in touch with him because his school is like 5 minutes down the road. I've only been to one game though, but he's doing well.
And for you guys, Josh and Eddie, the sophomore year for you guys, that was my senior year, and that was probably the lowest point I've ever seen of Woodland Hawks go to 1-9. But for a lot of you guys, like you said, Josh, this was only your 2nd year playing, and you were starting. Edit, were you on the field your sophomore year?
Yeah, I played wing. It was my first varsity season.
So you guys were still very, very young. But what did you guys? Obviously, it was a rough year. You guys only won one game. You beat Kennedy, which was an upset because Kennedy was probably the best Waterbury team, other than Holy Cross, of course. But what did you guys learn from that season?
Pretty much what I personally learned from that was just to keep your boys together. From that, as like from each game, we started getting closer and closer. Like at the beginning of the season, we were kind of just like we were more like individuals, so to speak, with our stats and what we wanted, what our goals were. But like with each game, we were sort of setting goals for each other, to where we would build a closer family trust, and which would lead us to better seasons in the coming years.
Yeah, so like I said, staying together. We always worked as a team, and I felt that the losses really motivated us because each and every week we'd come back and say, this week's going to be the week, and Kennedy was our week, so we had a little bit of momentum going into Seymour, and started feeling better about ourselves, and that's one of the reasons why we had a more successful season junior year, 5-5.
So that's a good segue to jump right into your guys' junior. So Sean, this is probably your lowest point. Would you agree for your junior year?
Yeah, junior.
As far as like record was concerned.
Junior year my junior year anyway. We were 4-7. We were just coming off like the state championship loss. We had, I'd say, 4 returning offensive linemen. So I was pretty excited for the year to come up, but I would say we had some poor senior leadership. Probably the guys would hate me if they hear this about it, but I'm going to speak the truth. So I also hurt my ankle. Coach Moffo still gives me shit for it. My junior year as well. So battling that was pretty rough, and I would say we had played tough competition, and we lost pretty much all our games within a couple points, so that was pretty devastating, especially losing to Ansonia after we were up 2 touchdowns with 2 minutes left. So it was a pretty disappointing junior season, I would say that, but I think it motivated us for our senior season. So.
And that was also a transition year with the offense. You guys had, before that, years ahead, had been running the spread concept, and then you guys had to run. Did you guys run the wing tee?
So
a modification of that?
So we came in, actually, junior season as spread. Then we had a hammer set versus Watertown. So we started off in spread. Then it kind of didn't work too well because we didn't really have a quarterback. So then we switched to hammer, which is just same thing as wing tee pretty much, but the receiver is just another tight end instead. So we were running that, but then after that game, we totally switched to wing tee, which I think we should have started in spring ball. So that also kind of messed us up for the upcoming year.
It's also a transition year as far as head coaches was concerned. You guys had Coach Shea for the longest time, and then what was that guy's name?
Phipps.
Coach Phipps. That's it. That's right. So he ended up being the head coach. He was the offensive coordinator, so he was probably trying to keep that spread going, and then had to run the wing tee. But yeah, probably the highlight of that year, I remember that Ansonia game. You guys came right at him, hit him right in the mouth, and then just, I would say probably the biggest thing was like poor clock management at the end of the game. I think there were a few plays you guys like ran out of bounds, stopped the clock, and then, Ansonia. I feel like they woke up by the end of the game, and then made a clutch play, had that onside recovery and all that. It was a rough game, but yeah. And another thing you said, like the slim margin of error. I remember there was one game in particular. Looking back, that game against Derby, you guys lost by like, if you guys had made the extra point, you guys would have won or something like that.
Yeah, I believe it was 20-21, and that game was freezing, and there were some spots where the ground was so frozen you couldn't even stick your cleats in. So it was kind of battle of the elements there a little bit because it was so
Derby,
cold.
right?
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
it was at Derby, and yeah, we ended up losing that game 20-21, I believe.
So for you, Sean, it was probably the lowest part. But Sean, it was the first year you obviously became the prominent force on the offense. Like everything before that, it was Tanner, then you, and then that junior year it was all you. So even though it was the lowest year, it definitely set the framework for your senior season. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say so a little bit. I had a bunch of carries that year, so a bunch of touches, so it kind of like led the charge for the senior season, I guess. I kind of knew what I was expecting.
And then for you guys now, junior year was kind of a bounce back year. You guys, of course, had that 1-9. You guys ended up going 5-5 that year, ending up going to 500. Good God, let's get together. And Ed, that was your first year where you really started to get the chunk of the carries. Before that, you had Isaac, who was getting most of the carries, but then now you're the number one back, and that junior year you will get 20-plus touchdowns. What was the difference, you think, between that from last season to your guys' junior year?
I think it was just having older guys on the field who were experienced in varsity football because my sophomore year, it was all like underclassmen. We had like freshmen and sophomores playing corners. We had maybe like 3 seniors on the field and barely any juniors. It was mostly just our class 2019, just on the field, just like, getting their asses whooped. And I think with that experience going on to our junior year, we knew what we were expecting. We knew what we had to do and we had a lot of good senior leaders that year, such as Joe Kometz, Tom Farnars, one of my favorites, Matt Mills. And with those guys and with our chemistry that we put together from that sophomore year, I think that really helped us bounce back and just kept pushing us to want more and more.
Josh, any comment?
I'm gonna have to agree with that again. Definitely bounce back year. We, our chemistry, we all came together. That summer really proved to be the turning point, I think, of the team, the team's chemistry. We really worked hard all summer in conditioning, and going into the first game, Crosby, we just had a lot of confidence, and we were able to come away with a win. So, that got us rolling, and yeah, definitely the experience. Like I had said, we were a lot more experienced from getting beaten down sophomore year. So we just came back, knew what to do.
Yeah, as you said, Josh, like right from the jump start, I feel like you could tell that after that first game against Crosby, you guys started off struggling. I think Crosby definitely, they were probably the best team. Would you guys agree? Probably the best city team out of Waterbury that year?
Yeah, they were a Class L school. They had multiple athletes, and on paper they should have beaten us. Like, we still had juniors and sophomores playing while they had all seniors. And coming away with that was huge.
Yeah, that game really was when you guys came into the second half and played as well as you did defensively as well as offensively. You could tell this team was a lot different, and you guys were going in the right direction. So yeah, a lot of credit in that Crosby game, and then probably the biggest one for you guys was that upset against St. Paul. St. Paul, of course, was a team that was in line to potentially get a state playoff spot, but you guys came in on a Saturday morning. It played really phenomenal defense. As to what I mean, most of that season, your defense had struggled. Like, you had that game against Wolcott where you guys were able to put up 42, 49 points, but you guys could not stop them offensively. But St. Paul, you guys came in, you guys played sound defense against their power sets, and then of course you had that clutch turnover by Carter at the end of the game. So that game against St. Paul, what did that mean to you? Was that really like your championship, or did that give you any confidence maybe going into next year that, hey, we can compete with teams like this?
I think that was mostly like our grades game, sort of, because most of the seniors that game were injured, and we had pretty much all the juniors that played, all the seniors that played this year play last year on defense. And I think with Coach Moffel is a hell of a defensive coordinator, so when you put that script together to how to stop St. Paul, and we just followed our rules constantly all week. We practiced the same plays every day, and we were just seeing that in the field, and we were like, hey, this is exactly what they run that we were practicing against, so why can't we just stop them? Why should we be intimidated because everyone says we're going to lose because they're a state playoff team? Like, anything can happen in football, and that's what I truly believe in. So that's why I believe that we dominated St. Paul that day at their field.
Josh?
I was actually hurt myself in the St. Paul game. I don't know if you remember. But watching from the sidelines, I just saw the determination on everyone's faces, Hell of a comeback. We had no one thought we could do it, but, everyone out there fought hard, so they ended up with the win. So we ended up with the win. So, yeah, definitely,
That's the one thing I gotta say though about you guys. When you guys are determined to do something, like on the field, doesn't matter. Well, you guys go out there and give it your 110%, and you guys are just, I like seeing that a lot because it makes the difference in everything, So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to transition now into you guys' senior season, and I can actually, you guys, all three of you have something in common that you guys can all comment on. You guys all had Coach Anderson as one of your coaches. Sean, you had him as your head coach, but for Ed and Josh, you guys had him as a OC/assistant coach. What kind of detail, like what did Coach Anderson bring in that you hadn't seen in any other coach? Like what was his identifiable trait?
I think his love for the sport is his passion is what really makes him such a good coach, because he loves the sport of football. He would spend, I would walk around school and he would have bathroom duty, and he would just sit there making our offensive script. He would sit there and just watch countless hours of film, and his love for the team. He was very honest guy. Let's just say that. If you messed up on a play, he will call you out for it. But it's not to hurt you, but it's just to critique you and to help you become a better player. And just his game IQ. He's been doing this for, I don't know, 40 40 years maybe.
40.
Yeah. Okay, maybe, yeah, you're right. Maybe 20. All right. Okay.
He's been. Let's just say.
say a lot.
He was. A lot of years. He was there from the beginning of Woodland football, right?
Mm-hmm. He's been there, and his play call. He led 2 teams to the state championships,
and he just knows what he's doing. He can read a defense. He can put players in the right position to where they need to be. I think that's what makes him a really good coach.
Josh?
Yeah, so Coach Anderson, I believe he brings a tremendous amount of focus to the team. I remember the pre-practice meetings, he would always write on the board, like ball security, AWCLF, or execute every day. Not only that, I believe his creativity really helped us, with the play calls and everything. He was always installing new stuff so that we can use them in different situations, and it ended up working a lot of the times. So that's all I have to say.
Sean?
I'll say he was a pretty intense guy a little bit, and he was pretty open to myself and Kobe. So I asked him to do conditioning, so we'd hundreds on Monday, 50s on Tuesday, and 40s on Wednesday before every practice. So I feel like it was pretty cool with that, because I feel like part of our juniors year seasons we weren't conditioned enough. So I want to make sure everyone was conditioned for our senior year season, because most of the guys played both ways. So that was pretty cool, and just having being around a guy that's won already 2 state championships with Woodland football is definitely was a pretty cool experience.
So let's kind of get into detail about those senior seasons. So Sean, for you, really just a bounce back year, as we kind of talked about a little bit earlier. But I'd probably say your guys' biggest one, you guys had a home game against Naugatuck, and you guys were able to bounce back. You guys really took it to them. You guys kicked their butt. What was kind of the game plan going into that Naugatuck game, and how were you guys able to execute it?
Shut down 20350.
So it was a huge game. It was our senior night. It was pretty much meant to be, because it was the Pinot Trophy. Coach Pinot was our freshman coach, so really a bunch of our seniors were motivated to win for him. Because I remember freshman year he said, I don't care if we go defeated that year as long as we beat Naugatuck, and we ended up losing to Naugatuck freshman year versus the freshman team. So that game was really for him. So all the seniors were motivated for that game. And to tell you the truth, I don't think Naugatuck had a great defensive scheme at us at all. Most of the holes were wide open. Lyman had a great game, and I don't know, their defensive schemes weren't that great, and we played well defensively. So I guess it was a great team effort, great team win. It was all for Coach Pinot.
All right. So that was a big game. You guys didn't even play Naugatuck, unfortunately, right?
No.
Yeah, that was. You guys got to get that going next year. Got to get that non-conference game. Now that you guys, I think what did they do? How did that happen? Why did you guys not play Naugatuck this year?
Because we were in the Iron Division, and we got moved to the Copper. Pretty sure, right, Sean? Or were
We were in the Iron Division my senior year season. Then whatever happened after that, I have no idea.
Yeah, we just got moved to a different division, and Naughty got moved, so we just didn't play them.
And I've heard that, I'm not sure if this is true, I doubt it, but they peed in our locker room, the girls' locker room, when they were in there. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I've heard it did. I heard it does, but I don't know.
That's funny.
Sounds classic Noggy right there, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Trash town, by the way.
Ooh, easy. They have a.
I don't care. I don't like Naugatuck. I've been there how many times? There's nothing appealing about it. So
You don't even like cheeseburgers?
no, because it's Naugatuck. That's why. So I hate it.
Walmart?
No.
Dude, Walmart slaps.
Dude, Walmart does slap. If it wasn't for Walmart,
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, I don't. I usually buy my stuff from Walmart, so I can't. I guess I can't. Insult Walmart, but
you're gonna apologize to everyone in Naugatuck?
no, I still hate Nuggetites. So,
All right. Okay. So Sean, what was your final record your senior year? I forgot.
We were 7-3.
7-3.
Yeah, so I feel like our 7 games we won, we kind of blew the teams out. And the 3 games we got blown out by Seymour, Torrington, and Wolcott. We got destroyed by them. So
Shafted.
yeah.
that was the Torrington game. Was the one game I played, and I got that sack.
That was.
Oh God, yeah. No, that's
That was your big sack right there.
that's when I peaked.
Yeah, Sean, when Dave signed up for the football team and you first met this guy, what was your thought?
Well,
Be honest, like you don't hold back.
Well, we started off like I met Dave like in the weight room, and he was. To tell you the truth, I don't think you ever lifted before high school, but you were moving weight for someone that never lifted before. He was moving weight, so I was like, wow, this guy. If he's got to learn football, and I'll be excited for that. And I just remember one of the most comical experiences when Dave's saying Woodland for our punts. He's like, Woodland. I thought it was pretty funny. So
When my intensity comes out, my accent usually comes out more. So that's what happened.
Can we get a little Woodland? Dave, goes to
Woodland.
yeah, so that was definitely pretty funny. And his right, your sack versus Torrington was my senior year, right?
Yeah, yep.
That was definitely super exciting.
And then I messed up my ankle, and Mom was like, "Don't play football anymore." I'm like, "All right, yeah." So that's
The cane. The cane.
Let's not talk about that, guys. Come on.
No, let's get into this. Dave, why did you decide to pick a cane? Where did you get the cane?
All right. Well, what happened was because I didn't have my ankle was like it was pretty swollen. Like people called me, they were like, you broke your toe. It wasn't my toe. My ankle was actually just like it looked like a golf ball was in there. So I wasn't able to walk. So I had to go to school anyway. So I didn't have crutches at the house. I didn't want to go to the doctor because I'm a man, you know. So what happened was my mom or my stepdad, I forget one of those two, they brought like some African canes over from back home. So I was like, I'm just gonna take this to school. I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna judge me. Little did I know that I was gonna get mocked. Like every day I get even at the barbershop too. I get mocked for that every time I go there. They're like, "Hey, that African cane boy over here." I'm like, it's whatever. But yeah, that's the whole story. But I didn't have crutches, so I just used the cane.
Moral of the story: real men don't use crutches.
Yeah, right. Real men don't use crutches. From Josh Hassan, guys.
Yep. So I was on crutches about a year ago. So I guess I'm not a real man, right?
I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Cane gate. Finally got that taken care of.
Right. We're talking about the senior seasons.
Oh yeah. Senior season. So Sean, you guys beat Naugatuck, big win. Bounce back here. We talked about Anderson. For you guys made it all the way up to state. So for you guys, Ed and Josh, like what did it mean to you guys from starting, in your humble beginnings as a sophomore, going 1-9, and then being able to play Bloomfield? You guys made it all the way up to states. Of course, lost to Bloomfield in the first round, but what did it mean to you guys just to get there and have that opportunity?
I felt great about it because I know that we were setting the framework of the program. Because before that, like even our own school was going against us. Like they're like, "Oh, you guys are playing Woolkit. Oh, you guys are losing. You guys are playing Seymour. Oh, you haven't beaten them since 2014. 14. You guys are not beating them." And I think this year we just had that support. Because now in school I have a bunch of guys asking, "Hey, should I play football?" This, that, and there's a bunch of new kids, new faces on the lifting team that want to play football. So I think that our grade kind of just set the foundation of what Woodland football is going to be in the future.
Josh?
Yeah, senior year, 9-2. It felt great. This might sound a little cliche, but hard work pays off. It really does. We never stopped. It felt great to get back at those teams that really put a beating on us our sophomore years or even our junior years, like Woolkit and Seymour. Yeah, I mean, I feel if we had more experience, if we had made states in the past, we would have done a little bit better, But it was an experience, I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, well, too bad we lost in the state tournament." I feel like we did really well, and yeah.
So this is a question for Ed and Sean. So, both your guys' senior year, you guys were quote unquote like Mr. and you guys were the football team. What kind of like almost backlash did you get from your other teammates, and how did you deal with being the guy who's always getting the interview after the game, the guy who is always on the headline? How did you guys deal with it?
Yeah, every day, a bunch of the guys would just mess with me, and I didn't really enjoy it because even when I was getting interviewed, I'd always give credit to the line and whatnot, but they still headline me, which I don't really like. I'm more of a humble guy. I like giving other people my credit. I always give the coaches, the linemen, the credit. So just being the headline guy, like, it did feel good personally. I'm not gonna lie about that, but like, it just, I don't know, I'm just not comfortable with it as being called the Woodland Krivcas, or in Sean's case, the Woodland.
Yeah, they were the Woodland Chons. I
The Woodland
remember.
Chons, yeah.
Yeah, I guess my friends made up the nickname Woodland Chons. So it kind of grew on me. I made my Xbox name. So you guys want to add me on Xbox, Woodland Chons. So like Ed said, I'll give all the credit to the line, coaches, all the other teammates. But all my friends they weren't mad. They were just like bullshit with me, and they would just do it to bust, just give me a hard time. But it was like, it's whatever. So that's about it.
All right. So now let's wrap it up with football. So Sean, now clearly you're out of football, you're doing your thing now with WPI. So how's that experience been? How was the transition going from high school ball to college? What were the challenges of? What would you say was like the biggest difference from playing high school ball to going to college?
I guess the amount of time we put into it, because we have a lot of meetings. The practice was pretty much like minimum. Our shortest practice is like 2 hours every day. So practice time was a lot more. Meeting times were a lot more. I guess like coming in freshman year, I got to start the entire freshman season, so that was pretty cool. And the guys it was still like, it's D3, so it's not like the guys I'm not going against like huge guys, but like you do notice a difference. You do get hit harder. So I took a lot more ice baths, and you gotta like treat yourself in the training room a lot better. So I guess that was like the biggest difference, was just like, the guys being a lot bigger, stronger, and faster. Because it's a lot easier to run someone over in high school football, but then when you go to college, it's a lot
that's one thing. We were talking. Dave and I were talking to Joe Kometz, and he's got friends over there on the football team, and what they said basically was, every single week the game is important. Like, clearly when you guys went up against teams like Wilby or the Kennedy, the city schools, those games, you can kind of go in there and just kind of dominate them pretty easily and know that you're going to have your backups play the second half. But in college, every single week you have to be 100. You have to be there 100%, because these guys that you're going up against are still like probably the best players from their high school. So, they're still pretty good players, and like another difference I saw is like the defense is a lot more, let's say, tenacious, and like you usually, like, some kids give up on the play in high school, but no one gives up in college, so you really have to make sure you're fighting for every single yard you get, and like don't take advantage of, or you got to take advantage of every opportunity. So that's about it. So Sean, your senior year, you clearly probably had. How many schools did you have probably going after you to play college ball?
Actually, not a lot at all. So I could have walked on at University of New Haven. I think played on the defensive side of the ball, or Trinity College was interested, and they didn't have civil engineering, which I wanted to major in. So that school dropped out. So it's pretty much either UNH or WPI, and I just...
WPI, did they guarantee you? I don't know if they guaranteed you, but did they say... Did they give you like a scholarship straight up and everything like that?
It's D3, so there's no scholarship. So
They don't give you anything?
Well, it's all like academically. So I got some money, not a lot, and it's an expensive school. So so it's D3. So you're pretty much just playing football because you love it, and like I love all my teammates, and I'm super happy I chose WPI because I'm having a great time and playing good football there. So.
All right. So, Ed, you got any schools lined up right now, or do you have anything official, or same thing for you, Josh? Yeah, anything lined up?
I'm going up for an official visit in Springfield, and me and the head coach are really close, and I'm probably going to commit there.
I think we got some inside information right here.
I've been accepted there.
Oh, nice.
I've been accepted to other schools. Right now, Springfield's my main one.
Give it up.
Thank you. They have my major and everything, and it's only an hour drive, so fairly close to Connecticut. And I just think that probably going to be my future spot.
Josh? Anything for football? Or are you planning just?
I'm not really interested in the whole college football thing. I've had a couple schools look at me. I was invited for a workout at Pace. Not going all the way up there for a workout on a Saturday. I was working out in the weight room during gym class, and the UNH, one of the UNH coaches saw me lifting. He gave me his card. Nothing big, really. It's just I went on a tour with Joe Shea to Southern, but I'm really not interested. My goal is to get into like BU or UConn, Michigan, whatever. Obviously, Michigan, walk on, third string punter or something like that. But yeah, not a lot of interest for college for football for me. So.
All right. I think that's about it, guys.
Oh, I have.
Dave, you want to say anything?
I have one last thing because I kind of gave you guys nicknames before. Edit, you're the Sultan of Locomotion. That's your nickname. Sean, the Master of Speed, and Josh, I have yet to figure this out. So, what do you think? What are some traits you have that I could kind of combine together that could give you like a solid nickname? Because I mean, I like the other two's nickname. I got to figure something for you. So, what do you think I should give me something to work on here?
Something to work on. Okay. Well. They call me P.
Okay.
Around here, around these parts. Dude, I really don't know. I'm fast.
Okay.
I'm lethal.
Oh, okay.
Don't mess with me.
Oh, okay. All right.
So how about Pistol P or something like that?
Ooh,
That's not or Young Bull or Caesar or something like that. You know?
I like Pistol P.
Yeah, I like Pistol P. Yeah.
Sean, would you agree on that?
Yeah, we actually have a guy on our football team we call Pistol Pete because his name's Pete. So
Pistol Pete.
I think it's a cool nickname.
P. It is, I guess.
All right. I guess
sounds good. Yeah.
We just figured it out.
All right.
So that's about it.
Any shout-outs?
Yeah, you guys want to shout out anyone? Go ahead.
Anything?
Any shout outs? Any plugs?
My plug. I'll shout my girlfriend.
Okay, that's a big one. Josh?
Yeah.
Oh, shout out Carter Moore. Shout out home team. Shout out CG. Shout out people.
Oh, okay. Sean?
I'll say shout out kids on the football team my senior year: Kobe, Guy, Skirpo, Samir, Sishay, Zach Edzo. I'm definitely forgetting other people. Who else? If I didn't shout you out, I'm sorry. That's about it.
I got a couple more.
Yeah.
All right, keep going. I don't
Keep
care.
going. Yeah.
Shout out Nick DiTullio. Shout out Young Butters. Go check his SoundCloud out at Butters. He's got some heat.
Edit.
Shout out my mom and dad, sister.
Shout out Ben Pulaski. He was a goon football player.
Pulaski, bro. About that kid.
Matt Mills. I'd like to shout out Tom Farnarts for coming back from the Marines. Scott Lawrence, Ben Nuss, all those guys, Marines. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, shout out. Shout out Ben Pulaski, dude.
Shout out Matt Hicks.
Yeah, shout out man.
Next David Sultan. Nah, don't shut up, man.
All right, so that's about it, guys. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, stay tuned for.
Stay tuned for more. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays too.
Yep, have a good one. Peace.